Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. I have just witnessed Sheffield Wednesday 0, Leeds United 0. Do you know, I think that's my first 0-0 draw of the season, and I think I'm on game number 21 or something, so haven't gone too badly. Evenly contested Yorkshire derby in the deluge, the pouring rain. It's been raining here for hours and hours, and I do apologise. I'm in the car park under a tree. If you hear an annoying sound during the review, I'll try and talk over it. It's the rain pitter-pattering on the roof of my car. So Leeds had worked themselves back into second place in midweek, drawing at Preston. Wednesday had gone up to third. They've been the most consistent team points per game wise probably for the last 4 or 5 game weeks in the whole division, really. There's been a few teams tailing off in that period, so this had the feel of a big game, and Leeds is another team that Gary Monk used to manage. It was tight. The conditions did probably stop some of the quality that we would normally see. A few things broke down specifically because of the weather, but in the main, a decent game that maybe shows Leeds' striking problems at the moment and inability to put the ball in the net, and also shows how Wednesday have now developed into a team that are going to be hard to beat, hard to play against, and could have a pretty good season if all goes well for them. Wednesday line-up 4-4-2. I know Gary Monk had been playing one up top recently. He's gone for 2 today. Westwood in goal. It was Palmer, Iorfa, Hutchinson and Fox is the back four. Reach down the right, Pelipesi and Bannon in the middle of midfield, Kadeem Harris down the left, Fletcher and Neweyhu up top. I'm not sure why he went from 1 to 2 up top, maybe just to give Leeds something else to think about, because I suppose if you engage in a midfield battle with Leeds, you'll probably lose because they're so good on the ball there. And I guess an out ball as well, big Neweyhu. He's a unique guy, isn't he? He may not be the most graceful, but he certainly can do a job in the Championship. Now Leeds, this surprised me. I turn up for a Leeds game and I'll show you my pad. I immediately start setting up how I've seen Leeds play all of last season and under Bielsa, and then I'd heard about this in the last game. It's a 3-5-2, so 3-4-3 I guess would be more accurate. So Casilla in goal. Ayling's going to play right centre back, Ben White in the middle and Berardi. So you got 3 centre backs. Does that give a little bit of extra insurance for Berardi, who tends to do silly things when I see him play for Leeds, although that red card was rescinded. Dallas is right wing back, Alioski is left wing back. You've got Phillips not quite in his deep line playmaker position. He's a bit further forward because you don't want it too cluttered at the back there, although there was a tendency for him to drift back. Had to play with quite a lot of discipline not to do what he'd done so well for the entire Bielsa reign, really. Klitsch in midfield with him, Costa off to the right and Harrison off to the left, joining in with Bamford up top. So the first time I've seen Bielsa at Leeds with the 3 at the back. Be interested to see particularly Leeds fans' thoughts. Often with Bielsa you do end up with 3 guys at the back. Normally it's split centre halves and Calvin Phillips between them. You do end up with high fullbacks. So the only real difference is that player at the back in the middle is not a playmaker. It's Ben White, it's a defender, and not Calvin Phillips. That moves Calvin Phillips further forward. I'd be interested to know from Leeds fans which players that benefits and which players that hinders. And is it a way he could possibly go to 2 up top and still keep a 3 in midfield if he does want to play Nketiah and Bamford? We will see. And I should just quickly, before we go into the action, give a shout out to Chris, who saw me in the stand before the game. Sheffield Wednesday fan and asked for one. So hello, Chris. First minute, Bannon's clever. He's trying to play the conditions here. Long ball through, skids off Casilla. Well, we often get our heart in our mouths when we see Casilla running out from goal. Swips these one up beautifully. 9, big Wednesday break here. Flicked on to Reach. He dribbles from halfway. He's funny, Reach, because he appears to have the initial bit of skill to get past the guy, but then not the pace to kind of keep going. We saw that a couple of times. Does well though, works the shot, and White makes the block in the penalty area. Reach trying to find the hole in behind the wing back. Harris trying to exploit those areas. The ball into the channel was on for Sheffield Wednesday in this game as Leeds built possession. Wednesday seemingly trying to sit solid, get that back four up. Try and get Bannon on the ball. If they can't get Bannon on the ball, fullbacks hit the channels. Looked like a fairly sensible setup, and given the conditions as well, playing the way you're facing and trying to slide things in behind will always go down well. 13 minutes, Bannon, lovely feet here, feeds Harris to the left. He works Dallas, crosses from the left, cleared to the edge. Palmer is arriving off from right back, hits it with the left foot. It's going in the corner. Casilla down to his left. Good play again by the Spaniard in goal. No chances in the rain. Tips it round the post. Leeds counter immediately from the corner. I think it ends up with Harrison, but there is an overload on that side. If they move the ball correctly, Harrison shoots and it's blocked. Bielsa loses the plot on the sideline. He thought they should have taken advantage from that. Leeds kind of wake up around this point, force a couple of corners. Second phase here in the 18th minute of one of these corners. White dribbles into the box. He's waiting and waiting for a touch. He goes down. No decision made there. Phillips takes a free kick on 21. Well over. Costa drifts right to left on 22. Alioski 25 yarder, smashes that one over. A bit lacking in composure. His tie-ups on his socks had come off and he'd been asked to go off the pitch, which he wasn't happy about, so hence the lack of composure. Pelopessi has a tame long ranger on 26, and the game kind of fizzles out for this half from about the 25-26 minute mark. Neither team managing to force a clear chance really up towards half time. We can blame the conditions. We can cite Sheffield Wednesday's game plan. They look lovely and solid, and Leeds can't get their passing going. We'll talk about why maybe at the end of the video. 40th minute, Pelopessi has a couple of goes at, I was going to say Diego Costa, then Helder Costa, and gets booked. And then the game wakes up just as we get into half time. Excellent from Fletcher here on 43. Takes the long ball down really well. They both did well in that regard. Nuhiu and Fletcher up top. Fletcher more with his feet, Nuhiu more with his chest and his head. He plays the 1-2 with the aforementioned Nuhiu, hits the 25-yarder, and again, excellent from Casilla. This is on target going into the corner. Good save by the Spaniard. But big chance now for Leeds, the best of the game, and it's superb from Harrison, who I thought had made a few bad decisions in his sort of final ball and when it came down to the key pass, but this is excellent. He's on the left hand side drifting in, and he crosses it with the outside of his left foot, so the defenders are totally not prepared for this one. It's a beautiful cross. Bamford does exactly the right thing. He pulls off into the 6-yard box. He makes the header. He goes back across the keeper. It's going low into the corner. Great save by Westwood, who's a big guy. All keepers are, aren't they? Tips it just round the post, just stretching as it skids off the turf. Good cross, good header, good save. Big chance, though. That'll go down on the XG as a big one, I'm sure. And we're going to go in at half-time. 0-0, conditions not helping. Bit of a fallow period from 25 to 43 minutes in this one. Wednesday, I like it. I saw Birmingham do this a lot last season, and I think Gary Monk has probably got better players this season to work with. Certainly Bannon and Reach in terms of the creativity. He doesn't have a Che Adams. Hey, where would Wednesday be if he did? But play it really well. They get Bannon on the ball when they can. Bannon's excellent at this level, isn't he? Making the play from not from a deep line midfield position, because they couldn't do that, else there was going to be too big a gaps between their less than mobile front two and their midfield, let's just say. I thought they played it quite well, and they snuffed out the Leeds threat and made it hard for them to get through, and created a couple of moments themselves, but they were sort of long distance shots from Palmer and Fletcher at the end of the half. Leeds, well, they seem to be missing the extra central midfielder, given that they're playing this different formation, and you can't get that overload when Phillips, who would normally come out into midfield with a Shackleton or a Forshaw and Klitsch and join up there and really start to overload. They weren't really able to do that, and I think that made the wide guys struggle to get good possession, Costa and Harrison. So I thought Wednesday probably edged it, but Leeds then have that big moment with Bamford, who I know is the jury's constantly out on Bamford, isn't it, at Leeds? Unless he's scoring 25 goals, I think that's just going to be the narrative for him there. You can say he should score with that header at the end, but he heads it in the right place. It's not a bad header and it's a good save, but I'm sure high percentage chance. And his last touch of the game, because on comes Nketiah at the start of the second half. 46, Bannon's got the free kick here, puts the first one into the wall here. It's loaded back in. He does really well to make the cross here. Iorfa flicks it on. There's no one arriving at the back post. Could have been a good moment there. Leeds build down the left on 49 here. Two sights for Phillips. He always looks for the pass, so the first time he does, it then comes back to him. This time he tries to shot with the right foot. He's got all that technique, hasn't he? Curls it, and it's just wide of Westwood's post on 52, the closest anyone's come now. Great play by Sheffield Wednesday. Fox joining in. He manages to get forward, and it's a lovely first time ball. Arrows it, takes out the Leeds defence to play in Fletcher. Great first time strike by Fletcher. He's in the box. I think he hits it left footed, doesn't he? Yeah, if it's curling inwards. Casilla is beaten. It smashes off the crossbar, and he's just far enough out, Casilla, that when the ball comes out and hits him, it just goes safe. We've seen them bounce in off the keeper. Good play by Fox. Good play by Fletcher. Unlucky there. Hits the crossbar. 58, Nketiah and Pelopessi are jostling. I think Nketiah does well to shrug off Pelopessi, who goes down holding his face to presumably try and get the game stopped. Nketiah goes into the box, feeds it back to Harrison 10 yards out, pulls the trigger, and that one is blocked as well. Nui Hu 60 out to Harris, works Dallas into the box. Harris, and he skies that one. 62, Bannon, beautiful half volley through ball, perfectly on that left foot of his, through to reach. Again, as I mentioned in the first half, he's got the skill to bring it down and get him behind. He doesn't have the pace to accelerate away. Of course, he'd be playing in the Premier League if he did. So he has to hit the shot early, and he drags that one wide. 64, big chance here, and Wednesday evening up now. That big chance that Bamford had for Leeds at the end of the first half. Bannon again, such a good player, really good with his feet. He curls the cross to the far post. Fletcher is arriving. He doesn't even need to get a good shot on this. He just needs to direct it goalwards, and Casilla's going to be all in the wrong place as the cross has come over. He's on the far post. He slides at it. Let's blame the conditions again, because it ends up going kind of laterally across, but big chance in a big area there, and Fletcher cannot convert. 73, Leeds work this one right to left, and Nketiah into the box. He's inside on the right foot, makes the space, hits the shot. It's straight at Westwood. He can't find one of the corners there. 75th minute, interesting substitution from Bielsa here. Liam Cooper, who I think we were expecting to be out for 4 weeks. I don't think it has been 4 weeks, but he's a bit of a warrior, Cooper, isn't he? He's going to come in for Helder Costa. So reshuffle here. Berardi moves sides as part of the three centre-halves. Cooper goes to the left, White, Berardi. Ayling now moves to wing-back, which brings Dallas down the right where Costa was playing. It's as you were in the rest of the team. But yeah, seemingly no attacking option to go out and win the game. I don't know, I haven't checked the best. I don't know if Tyler Roberts was on the bench, but maybe he wanted more of an aerial presence at the back from Cooper. I don't know. Bielsa is the wizard. He knows what he's doing, doesn't he? 79, how do Leeds not score? This was the moment, and dare I say, where if you're going to win this league, you take one of these chances and you win this game. Brilliant from Nketiah, beats his man. He's deep in the box, cuts back to Harrison, touch and shot. Normally, you would say that's the right thing to do, but does the touch allow Fox to get back and get into position? Because when Harrison shoots that ball into the corner, Fox is back, and it's a brilliant goal line clearance, but it's not over here. It goes out to the right hand side, cross back in. Alioski does really well. He climbs, he's not a tall guy, climbs well into the box, and he powers the header against the post, off the line and off the post in 2 consecutive phases of play there. Oh dear, maybe one of those chances should have been taken. Should Harrison have shot first time, I wonder. 82nd minute, Harris is on the left wing, in swinging cross. This one's going in, and Casilla, he's having a really good game. This is a good save again by the Spaniard. Reaches out and tips that one over the bar. In those conditions, seeing that cross come in, he does really well. From the corner, I think it's Nui, good header again. Casilla, good save. Definitely the busier of the 2 goalkeepers. Although Westwood did make that save down to his right in the first half, didn't he? Kieran Lees comes in for Pelopessi. Maybe they're happy now. I guess a bit more of a forward-thinking midfielder. Pelopessi's just going to sit there, isn't he? Forestieri comes in for Nuihu with sort of 5 minutes to go. He tees up Bannon, 30-yarder from him, rolls tamely wide. Lees, yellow card for pulling back Nketiah. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Bish bash bosh. Game over. 0-0 honours. Even. When you read through the chances, fairly even. I think Leeds might have just edged it with that double chance and Bamford's chance. Although Fletcher hits the crossbar, and that one where he ends up hitting it across the goal when he could have slid it in from a good position. So I think everything about this game probably says honours even. A draw is a fair result, although both teams probably should have scored. Let's blame the conditions for both teams not scoring and say that this is probably a fair reflection of the game. Wednesday played it well. They made it hard for Leeds to get through. And Bannon in the second half particularly, just all of those chances I was reading out when they were created, it's always Bannon, always the left foot. Excellent player there. Maybe brave of Monk to go 2 up top against Leeds and possibly leave himself open in midfield. But I think there's a good upside for Sheffield Wednesday here. Like I said, they look like Birmingham, and in some positions I think they've got better players than Birmingham had last season. So could be a good season if they can get match the creativity and the solidity. I think they were good for a point today. For Leeds, I'm really fascinated. Bielsa's changed system. I never thought I would see him change system. Is he gonna revert back when Shackleton, Hernandez, Cooper, etc. are all fully fit? I think he might just do that. Leeds, well, they're definitely missing Hernandez, aren't they? When you describe a team that, you know, is in a good shape and playing reasonably quickly, but doesn't have that final, you know, bit of creativity to get through, Hernandez will give you exactly that. So maybe when he comes back, although we were hoping from a Leeds point of view this season they wouldn't be so reliant as they were on him last season. Not quite at their best today, Leeds, in terms of the speed of the passing, but hey, it was tipping it down with rain here in Sheffield. They kept the clean sheet. They still, I believe, have the best defensive record in the league. So I guess Leeds, on they go. How many points have they got this week? 5 points for the week, and difficult away games against top 6 teams. It's been a good week when you look at the big picture for Leeds. We'll see how the rest of the results go for them, but I'm sure they would like Forshaw, Shackleton or Hernandez back into that midfield. And tell me, I ask every time, how close now is Nketiah getting to starting a game for Leeds? I know he doesn't have Bamford's ability to chest the ball or win stuff in the air, but he can dribble well. He's obviously a penalty box finisher, so maybe that will happen soon. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with my assessment here? Both teams could have scored, but probably fairly even on the balance of play, and both teams could easily end up in the top 6, couldn't they, by the end of the season, if Wednesday can continue this, and for both teams they steer clear of injury. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leeds fan, Wednesday fan, what do you think about today, and what do you think going forward? Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Broom. Hit subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, do a full review of Championship action when we know everything has happened tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get a chance to do that as a live stream as well. Follow my social media to find out about that. You can support me on Patreon as well if you enjoy what I do. Patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Love to do this full time, just need a little bit of help in the meantime as we grow the subscriber base here on YouTube. I am off home. I'm going to put the heated seat on and listen to the rest of the football. It's just gone 3 o'clock. It was Leeds and Sheffield Wednesday drawing 0-0 here at Hillsborough. Over and out.